Jury selection in Martin Shkreli's fraud trial continues today. This comes after more than 120 potential jurors were dismissed yesterday for being impartial. They blamed him for problems in the pharmaceutical industry. Some called him snake and the most hated man in America. Others say they were personally affected by his price increases. Paula Reid joins us now from our Washington bureau to talk a little bit more about this. So Pharma Bro cannot get a break, Paula. What are the charges that he's facing?
And Marie, he's charged with securities fraud. Long before he became notorious for raising the price of a life-saving drug 5,000%, he was working in hedge funds, and federal prosecutors allege that he swindled investors out of over $10 million. Now, his defense team, they argue that everyone has been made whole. Anyone who lost money was paid back, but that was not enough to convince federal prosecutors to drop the case.
It's funny because I think a lot of people just hearing his name probably presume that the case has something to do with his pharmaceutical company, but it doesn't at all. Why has it been so challenging to select a jury in this trial then?
Well, a lot of it comes from his actions once he got involved in pharmaceuticals. People don't like him, and they dislike him so much that they're comfortable telling reporters about it once the judge dismisses them. You shared a couple of the quotes there in the intro, but yes, people have called him the face of corporate greed, the most hated man in America. And another juror, after she was sent home, she said, "I saw him at the defense table and I said in my head, that is a snake." So it's making it very difficult to impanel a jury as quickly as they had hoped to. As you noted, they've sent over 100 people home so far.
You know, it's not the first time that people have been charged and they haven't been the most likable characters. Some of them are well known, oftentimes not well known. How does this compare to the average jury selection process?
Well, you're right. It's not uncommon to have someone, especially someone who is famous, have some fans and some detractors and the random sample of potential jurors that you bring in. I think what is particularly unusual here is that people are willing to publicly say how much they dislike him, and they couldn't even possibly be objective as a juror. Now, one thing we also have to consider, though, here is this is a securities fraud charge. There are victims, of course, but you don't have a dead mother or a dead father or a victimized child. I think in cases like that, oftentimes people are able to put some of their feelings aside because they really want to see justice done for that victim. But here it's a little bit different. It seems that people don't really care whether or not money was mishandled. They're just like, I don't like that guy, and I want nothing to do with this case.
Right. So where do we go from here? Do they just keep interviewing prospective jurors?
Yes, this case is taking place in Brooklyn. They will just keep calling in new groups of people, and they will certainly eventually find a group of people who can objectively hear this case, but it's probably going to take a lot longer than they had originally hoped. They expected potentially to be in opening statements this morning, but it seems it's going to take another day or so before they can actually find an objective jury.
Oh man, he just cannot stay out of the headlines at all, and not for any good reasons ever. Paula Reid from Washington, thank you so much.